Do you want the desk tour? Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Nara and I am a full-time assistant editor of social media and marketing, as well as a full-time business management student. And today I wanted to give you guys a little desk tour of my new desk and my filming setup. So starting from left to right, over here we're on the shorter side of the desk, which happens to be by my bed. And because of that, I wanted to make sure that the things I had over here were the things I would need to reach, if I was laying in bed about to go to sleep or waking up in the morning. And so because of that, we have a lamp. This is just my bedside lamp. It is warm lighting, which I like at night. It kind of makes me feel nice and cozy. If I'm reading any book in particular, I'll typically keep it right here. I also like to keep pens over here. I feel like a lot of times when I'm on this side of the desk, I'm journaling or I'm taking notes during a meeting or, during school. So I always like to have a few pens on standby and maybe like a Sharpie or two, because you never know when you're gonna need it. And then over here you can also see our quote of the month. That's something we do in all of our monthly check-in videos. Right now it is, the more I focus my mind on the good in my life, the more good comes into my life, which I heavily agree with. And then right next to it we have a couple of Spy Family figurines. Now I am a huge lover of all things Spy Family, especially Anya. She is like my favorite character in the whole show. I love how full of whimsy and imagination she is, and also she gets into mischief and she has really funny facial expressions, and I just think she's a really sweet character. So one of my coworkers was giving this stuffed bedtime pajama Anya away, and I was like, oh my god, I need that. And so she lives over here on my bedside lamp just for the sleepy vibes. And then I have this little Lloyd that I got in a blind box. I wanted Anya, but I got him. But he lives over here next to her as well. And then next to them I have this really cute little painting. It's very provincial French, coquette, floral. I feel like that's very much my aesthetic when it comes to the things I like to decorate with, other than, character things. I mean, even my bed frame. I love the swirliness of it. It just reminds me of a bed I would see in the French countryside. And similarly to this little painting that I did, I love the frame on it. This was actually a paint by numbers that I did on a picnic with a few of my friends, and out of all of them, this is the one I wanted to do. So I painted it and now it lives here. Adds a fun little pop of color to everything, I think. And then next to that I have this origami crane that I made at this event that is hosted in West Side in Hollywood called Creative Night. I haven't been in over a year, but when I was unemployed I used to go to quite a few of these, and they would do these little activities to sort of warm everyone up before we got started onto the main events. And one of those nights it was to make a paper crane, and I've kept it ever since. One, because it's cute. I know it's not the most perfect paper crane, but I was unemployed at the time, and I don't know, I was having a really rough time, and being around other creative people was just a really good reminder of who I was and who I wanted to be. And I look at this paper crane and it reminds me of all the hardship and all the joy that I experienced during that 10-month period of my life. So I like to keep it here as sort of a reminder that with time and patience, things can come out all right. Or semi alright, like this paper crane. Right here we have my laptop. It is a 2019 MacBook Pro. This was a graduation gift from my dad when I graduated high school, because I was going off to college the first time, and it was at MTSU, go Blue Raiders, and I was majoring in film and TV production, so I needed something that I could edit on. I didn't have my own desktop computer. All I had at the time was a 2016 or 2014 MacBook Air, which I had been editing on up until that point. And so my dad got me this as a gift to be okay, you're gonna go to school, you're trying to do this professionally, here's a laptop that you can actually edit on. Now this is very much out of date, so it doesn't really handle Premiere well anymore, but I still use it for Photoshop. I use it for Lightroom, making thumbnails, or if I'm out and about, or I'm taking my lunch break at work, I'll, use it to make thumbnails for videos like this one you're watching. I also use it for schoolwork, to like when I'm studying in the library, or just like on the go in general, or just writing scripts for my YouTube videos, just whatever I need. It can pretty much handle anything except for Premiere. I think it is a little too old and has a little too much wear and tear that Premiere makes it crash out. So I took the app off of there. Underneath it, I have this really cool playmat that my partner gifted me. It's for Pokemon cards, or really like any card tabletop game, but I kind of use it as a desk mat for my laptop at this point. I haven't played in any tournaments recently, so I don't know, I like it. It's cute. It has a bunch of like Dittos, and there's like a Pikachu and a Cyndaquil and a Snorlax and a Drifbloom and a Squirtle and Cubone and all these other Pokemon, and I think it's really sweet, and yeah, I love it. I think it kind of fits well with like the greens and the blues and the pinks and stuff. I think it all goes pretty well together. Over here I have a bunch of Spy Family figurines. Surprise, surprise. And then if you look closely, you can see my cinema roll. I also got that from a gotcha machine, and it's like a little crying cinema roll, and I think she's so cute. Now above all of this, I have my newest edition up here with a hair on it, but I have my newest edition up here. This is my calendar. I had this in my last apartment, and it's just been living in my closet for the entire time that I've lived here. I just haven't put it back up, but this wall was so empty, and I was originally gonna get a corkboard from work, but it was way bigger than I thought it was, so it was not gonna fit here like I needed it to. So I'm using this, and I need to find some push pins so I can like, put some like character cards here or something. But you can see I have my McDonald's Huntrix, K-pop Demon Hunters little photo card of Rumi, and then there's like a derpy one behind her. I really wanted the alt art versions for Rumi, which is like her and with like her demon skin, and then there's like one with her, like her and Genu like holding hands, with like their sort of like faded faces in the background from the song Free. I didn't get either. I actually ended up getting two of these, so I have another one of these Rumi cards on my desk at work. So I have two, but I like having it there. I think it's like a cute little splash of color and something that I love. And then over here on the very end of this side of the desk, we have this really cute like display ring. It's Calcifer from Howl's Moving Castle, and then it's on this like little stand that sort of has like this emblem. I think this is like on the fireplace, if I'm not mistaken, where Calcifer like lives. But I like this. It's like that scene where Sophie picks him up and he's like, please Sophie, put me down, feed me more wood, like please stop. Yeah, I love this thing. I think it's really cute. And then next to it I have a poem that I had written for me. It was like it was at this like little market, and the woman there, you could like choose what category you wanted, and so I just told her to like write a poem that I needed to, like write a message to me that I needed to hear. It's by Poetry Von Shell. I think it's a really cute poem. So it says, for Nadia. When you feel like something is lurking behind, keep looking over your shoulder for most of the time. Keep walking onward, eyes straight, for what lays in the past will only catch up with you if you're looking for it. You trail behind a path of roses along a bright sun. To lead your way, there lays your growth for future desired. The winds of change have their way to nudge you onward. Which way to go? The answer is in the stillness between the breeze and the roots. Listen to the version of you unafraid to want it all. I think it's a really sweet poem. I kind of interpret it as existing in the moment, appreciating what you have, and not being like too caught up in like your past mistakes or like issues of the past, allowing yourself to move towards better things. That's kind of like how I interpret it, but I think it's a really sweet poem. Okay, so now we've moved over here to the corner. This is kind of where I keep all of my cables. If you can see, I have this like rest here that holds my phone charger and my laptop charger. I actually like to keep my phone plugged in here because at night it's like just out of reach enough to where it's like too inconvenient for me to pick it up and start scrolling if I can't fall asleep right away. But it's also close enough that like if there were an emergency or like I needed to call someone, like I could just like get up slightly and reach it. But it's like just an inch out of reach to where like it's a little too inconvenient for me to like want to pick it up if I'm bored. And plus I think having like my phone charger here, it's like if it's in the middle of the day and I need to like get work done, I think it also helps me be like, well, I'm already sitting here, so I better get some work done. You know what I mean? And then over here in front, this is my computer. This is my Mac Studio Mini, I believe. And this are there's some more figurines over here. I love little knickknacks. If you haven't noticed, I kind of have them all over the place. But this is Carl, the 3D printed chicken. He like flaps. He's a fun little fidget toy. I like the way it feels. I got that at a farmer's market in North Carolina back when I used to live there. And then I also got this in North Carolina. It's a tiny baby. Let's see if it'll focus on it. It's tiny baby. It's faded, but you can kind of see there's like a number on the back, and that's because a friend of mine was watering my plants for me while I was out of town. And when I came back, she had hidden like 30 babies in my apartment in North Carolina. And this one I believe is probably, I think this is like number 18. And I found all but like 4 of them, and so whoever moved in after me is probably finding tiny babies. I don't know, like I looked everywhere and I couldn't find them. Even when I moved, I was like, I don't see them anywhere. So we're missing some babies. But this is Brian, my Smitsky. He's supposed to be hula hooping. I think his hula hoop broke off. I got this, I think, from work. They like give away stuff sometimes, and this was like on a free table of free things. But I just like his energy, I like his vibe, he glows in the dark. He's cute, I love him. And then behind that I have my little keyboard cleaner. It has like a brush, if I can get it to, yeah, it has like a brush for me to brush the keyboard. It also has like a screen cleaner, and then in here there's like some tools, like a keycap remover, and all sorts of stuff to help me clean around. Also behind this monitor there is a photo, or not even a photo, there's a drawing on the glass of the frame itself of Scooby with Maple, my dog. She's sort of drawn to look a little bit like Amber from Scooby-Doo Alien Invaders. There's like a whole plot in that movie where Shaggy meets this girl named Crystal and her dog named Amber, and Shaggy falls in love with Crystal and Scooby falls in love with Amber. And there's like a really cute song, and it's one of my favorite movies, and so my friend for Christmas like drew that for me, and it's like one of the coolest things I've ever gotten besides an actual animation cell from the show. I like to think of this as like my custom animation cell, and I love it so much. And then also over here I have like my hard drive, and then I have like some fairy lights, and then you can see as well this like big black thing over here is my studio light. That was a gift from my partner. I know it's like weird that I have it pointed that way, but it's like a lighting thing. You never want to have the light pointed directly at you because it can make you look kind of washed out, or like the lighting's too harsh. So by pointing it up against the white wall, the light like sort of like bounces back and creates like a nice like diffused lightness in the room. So when I'm filming, I have light coming from the window and I have light coming from there, and it just makes me look all the better. All right, I got a different angle for you now. You guys are getting the whole 360 view of this entire setup. But over here is like the main part of my desk. I typically keep my phone here, or I have it plugged in over there. I always have a mug here or a bottle of water or something. Right now I'm using one of my many GMM mugs. This is sort of the mug of the week. This is my actual desk setup where I like do most of my work if I'm like remoting in, or if I'm working on YouTube videos for my own channel or doing schoolwork. This is predominantly where I do those things. And I used to have like a much smaller standing and sitting desk that was like on the other side of my apartment, and it was so dark and dingy, and I could only fit my keyboard, my mouse, my monitor, and like barely balance my computer on top of that. But now I have this like really nice big L-shaped desk, which shout out to my friend Rachel. She gifted this to me, as well as this chair, which was a major upgrade from what I used to have. But thanks to her, I got this desk and I put it up against the window because I think having proper lighting when you're working makes you more motivated, and it helps me like stay awake and not want to fall asleep on my bed even though it's like right there. But yeah, I kind of need to be near the light to like get things done. I've always been someone who functions the best with good lighting. So that's why I have like the window here, and I keep these sheer curtains just to like, That way I can have the window open and I still get light, but if my neighbors walk by, I feel a little less exposed, but I can still like see outside, which is very important to me. I like to be able to see the trees and all of that stuff. So this is like the actual stuff that I use on a pretty like everyday basis. This is just like a cheap monitor I got off of Amazon. It served me well over the last couple of years, but it is like all Mac because I have a Mac computer. I keep this moss agate stone here. It's sort of like my fidget stone. Moss agate is supposed to be like good fortune, prosperity, fulfillment, and like groundedness. I love the way moss agate looks in general, but those are things that I always try to like remember in my day-to-day. So whenever I'm feeling anxious or like I just am getting a bit fidgety because of, you know, my ADHD or whatever, I like the way this feels in my hand. I play around with it a lot, and you know, if it rubs off some good luck on me, then so be it. If not, it's a stone and it's not harming me at all. And then the keyboard itself is just a Logitech keyboard. It is a brown keyboard, which means like it has like the brown keycaps in it. So it has like it has that clickiness. I like the way it feels. I like the way it sounds. A little ASMR for you guys. But this is by far like my favorite keyboard I've ever used. I like it because it has this magnetic like guard here, so it's a little easier to clean / to keep clean. And then I have like my cleaning kit over there that I use to clean it periodically. But I just think it's very cute. I think it goes with most things. It's kind of hard to tell right now, but especially at night, you can see that it lights up. It's supposed to be this like rainstorm, thundercloud type keyboard. So if you let the keyboard sit long enough, like the keys will start to light up in like blues and purples and pinks. But like it lights up sporadically, so it kind of looks like rain. And then it came with a wrist rest that looks like a rain cloud. I didn't like the way the wrist rest felt on my arms, so I don't use it. But it does have these like kickstands that are adjustable, and there's like different sizes of kickstands too. I always keep mine like pretty angled. I like the way it feels when I type with it. I also like that it has like this scrolling bar here, which is like cool for when you're just scrolling. There's like volume, pause, mute. I like the ASMR of it all. I do watch ASMR quite frequently, so I'm a big fan of this thing. And then I also use this Logitech like special grip mouse. My background is in editing. That's kind of like my entire career is based off of that, so I've learned you need an aerodynamic mouse. I also like this because when I'm editing videos, like this side scroll here lets you scroll horizontally on like a timeline, and then this lets you scroll vertically. And as an editor, that's just like, it's so nice to have. And then it has shortcuts that you can program with these buttons. I don't put anything on them because I tend to click things accidentally, and I never want to like set that to a shortcut that I would accidentally hit and then like annoy myself if I'm trying to edit or do something. But I got the white one because I think it matches well with the keyboard that I have. So yeah, that's like kind of all the tech stuff. So this desk mat, it's not one of a kind, but it is not something that you can procure as the average consumer, because this is a custom desk mat that was made for employees of Mr. Beast as like a Christmas gift. I believe that was just for Christmas of 2023, but they made a very limited quantity of these, and one day in the office they were just like, hey, we have like a bunch of these mats that we like custom made for employees. There was not enough for everyone. And I was actually out sick that day, but one of my close like colleagues and still one of my friends to this day, shout out to you, Evan, he was able to grab one. When I came into office the next day, he came up to me and he was like, hey, I know you would have been really bummed if you hadn't been able to grab one of these, so like I grabbed one and like this is for you. So that was really sweet of him. This thing means a lot to me. One, because of like the way I received it, but also two, because like that was a really crazy like time in my life as like far as like career, but also I had like a lot of personal stuff going on. So this thing has a lot of memories attached to it. I think it's really cool because the mat itself has a lot of references to videos that I worked on. I don't even know where to start. Like this thing's like covered in them. Obviously you have like the Beast logo here. There's a Christmas tree with like ornaments and like a train going into a pit. I don't know if it's supposed to be like explosives. It kind of looks like that to me, but the train part is because there was like an experiments video they did where they like crashed a train into a pit and then they like blew it up. So I think like that whole tree is like a reference to that video. Then there's like these two gingerbread men. One of them is holding a cane and the other one's like a gingerbread baby, and so that's like ages 1 to 100. Then you have the sight video and the hearing video above that. Then there's like this video player up here. It's like a golden yacht, so I think that's for the yachts video. And then to the left there is a raft with like 5 people fishing and a bird, and that's the raft video, which is the first video I worked on that was released publicly while I worked there. Oh yeah, this is the this was for 2023 because it literally has 2023 written on it, lol. But above that you have like a flying car with like Christmas gifts in it. That's the Cars video. Underneath that you have what is that, like $1 million plane. That's from the Planes video. And then over here there's like this sort of like Japanese-esque font that says Happy Holidays, and I think that is supposed to be for the like vacations video where they went to Japan with PewDiePie. I think that's like a nod to that. And then at the very end there is a cup of hot cocoa with like snowy mountains, and I choose to believe that that is when they went to, oh gosh, where was it? I forget exactly which country. It was like Norway or something, but they went to like a very cold country and they did dog sledding and they had hot cocoa, and I think that's what that's a reference to. The only things on here that I'm not entirely sure is that there's like 2 Christmas gifts and a stocking full of money. I don't know if that's just like aesthetics or if that's supposed to be like a reference to like something in particular. I couldn't really figure it out, but those are all the references that I am at this moment like recalling. But I remember like when we all got the desk mats, we thought they were cool, but like we didn't realize that they were references to videos like we had all worked on, especially like being in the post department. So I remember like one day I was sitting at my desk and I looked down and the first thing I noticed was the train, because I love like Christmas tree trains. I think they're really cute. And I remember looking at it and being like, why is there a big hole in the train tracks? And then it like, I clicked in my brain, I'm like, oh, this is the experiments video. And so then we like spent like a whole like 30 minutes like going through trying to figure out like what everything like related to. And it was like, it was a really fun little day that we had. But yeah, this thing means a lot to me. It doesn't really fit my aesthetics, but it is like a really cool thing that I own that like no one else, that unless they like worked there and happened to grab one of these out of like the select number that we had, no one else really has this besides like those other people. So this is just like a cool thing that I own. I will probably at some point replace this for something a little more me. I'm thinking like something like floral with like ribbons on it, but right now I don't have the need to buy one since I have one. But it definitely does, like I said, it does not match my aesthetic whatsoever. And then last but definitely not least, because this is super important, is my cable management under my desk. Okay, so we are currently under the desk. I'm trying really hard not to hit my head, but basically the way I have this set up, it's a little messy. I need to like zip tie these together and maybe like try to like pin them up here. But most of the cables come out of this like back hole over here, and then they all feed down to this power strip on the floor. And some cables go this way, that would be like the lamp cable, and then the rest of the cables feed over here into this basket. This is where another power strip is, and this power strip has things for like the light up above me. It also has my power bank station, so this is where I charge all of my batteries for all of my cameras. So this is for the DJI camera that I use in a lot of my vlogs. This is for the camera that I'm currently recording on, which is my Canon. That's more of like my desk, like in my apartment camera. And then I switch it out if I need to charge like other devices that require like a USB plug-in. And then over here, I have some hooks, and this is where, and that's where I keep my headphones. This is what I edit with on a regular basis. I really like the noise cancellation on them. They are like pretty expensive. They were a gift. I did not buy these myself. I will say my one gripe with these headphones is like I do find that they're so heavy, and so I do get like really bad tension headaches, so I try not to wear them for like super long periods of time. You know, if like there's construction outside, or like people are being a little too loud, or maybe there's like a noise from the AC or something that makes it hard to hear what I'm working on, I find that these help me focus better. And then they're also good for like when I'm at work and I like want to watch TV on my lunch break, or if I'm like at the library with my partner and we're doing schoolwork, another great use for them. So yeah, that's the under the desk. It's like pretty well managed, but I would definitely like to sort of tidy up these cables a little bit more. I try not to think about them too much because when I look at them, I'm like, ooh, it does not look very good. All right, so now we are back up top where we normally sit at the desk. This is where I film all my videos now. So you get like this sort of like soft background of my workstation, and then you also have my bed over here. You have my giant Scooby-Doo, and then if you can kind of see them, I have like way more stuffed Scooby-Doos over there. I just went to the Scooby-Doo Fan Fest night, or Universal Fan Fest night, which had like the Scooby-Doo Meets the Monsters backlot mystery, which was so cool, getting to walk around Little Europe, which was also where they filmed A Good Place, which is one of my all-time, if not my favorite sitcom of all time. So that was really cool, getting to like actually walk around on the set. But yeah, I have like a lot of Scooby-Doo stuff. I have like DVDs and stuff over there. But this is, yeah, like I said, this is my normal background when I do like my monthly check-ins, or if I do any other like sit down at my desk type videos, or like I'm narrating a vlog. This is the setup. So we're actually gonna switch over to my DJI Action 5. This is my vlogging camera. I use this pretty much anywhere that isn't my apartment. I used to only film with this for the longest time. I've had this Canon that you guys are sitting on like 4 years now, but when I bought this, I was like pretty much only filming on it. One, to sort of get a feel for what it was like, see what I preferred. Also just because it's easier. This has a bigger SD card in it. I think it has like a better battery life, and I have more batteries for this than this camera. But I realized like after I set this desk up, I was like, okay, I need a camera that just like lives here 24/7, so that way like I don't have to keep like taking things up and down and up and down. And before, when I was just sitting at this like very tiny desk, this was easier because it was like, oh, you know, it's small camera, small desk, I can just put this on my tripod and like film. But now it's, you know, I kind of try to reserve this guy for when I'm out vlogging, whether it's at FanFest night, or if I'm traveling, or if I'm just, you know, going out with my friends one evening. But I'm gonna use this now to kind of show you guys what everything looks like when I'm actually filming on this camera. I will be closing the blinds, so the lighting will change in here a little bit, so apologies if that's a little startling for you, but I'm trying really hard not to show the outside of my apartment. So bear with me, 1 second. All right, so this is the lighting with just the studio light. I would normally have a ring light here as well. I don't feel like setting that up right now. I think this looks good enough, but I did close the blinds so I can show you guys my filming setup. So you're gonna get a little double POV here. This is her. So I have this Canon, I think it's an EOS or an EO5. I'll like put the model here. I forget like the actual name of it. It's like a white Canon camera. As you can see here, we have filmception going on right now. So yeah, it's a pretty simple setup. It's nothing crazy. I have this sort of like overhead boom room mic. I don't use it a lot. I tend to use my DJI audio equipment, which is this right here. It just comes in this travel kit, and it has like 2 mini lavs, and there is a, oh my God, stay open, okay. No, open up. Okay, there is a receiver inside, so I can, in theory, plug this into this camera. I tried that once before. I didn't love the way the audio sounded, so I'm trying the room mic again just to see how I feel about it. Hopefully this video sounds okay. I haven't used this mic in a while. Yeah, so it's like plugged into here, and it does have that like flip screen, so I can see myself. Sometimes when I film with this, you'll see me like looking off to the side, and that's just because I'm looking at myself to make sure that like, you know, everything looks good in frame, that I'm still in frame, that there's nothing like in the background that I don't want to be there. Like I have another window behind me, so make sure like that's closed, or that like my hair isn't like poking out in weird directions. I also just get distracted by like the movement of like what's on this monitor, so I like kind of dart my eyes back and forth a lot. Sorry about that. But yeah, so that's kind of like the mic. It plugs in here. This is the viewfinder, and then this is the camera. It does have manual focus. I like autofocus, which is what this little box here is, if you can kind of see that on this camera. Oh, well, it kind of went away. But on my eye, there's like this little box, and that is just a way for the camera to track my face and make sure that I'm constantly in focus. Because there's nothing more annoying to me when I film a video and I'm like, oh, that felt great. And then I look back and like I'm out of focus, or it's like really blown out, or there's something in the background that I'm like, oh, did not want you to see that box with my address on it, you know what I mean? So I try to do everything auto. It's just easier for me. I know I could make things look better if I did manual and all that jazz, but I just don't have the time for it. Maybe if I wasn't also in school and working, and trying to make YouTube videos. Maybe if I had like one less thing on my plate, I would put a little more attention into that. But as of right now, autofocus is just fine for me. And then I have this like, I think this is literally like one of those TikTok shop-esque tripods. I did not get it off of TikTok. I think this also came off of Amazon, but it does have this nifty, handy dandy little remote, and it is connected to my phone. So if I turn this on, it will like trigger my phone to like taking photos or taking videos. I don't use this very often, but it is nice to have, and I do like it. And I think this tripod is good. It's durable. It can get really tall. It can get really short. It's the perfect height for this desk. And I do like that it's white because it matches the camera. And it also just like, for me visually, like I said, I keep this pretty much here 24/7. Even if I'm not filming, I do have this like camera cover that I will use to cover it when I'm like not using it, so I don't feel like I'm being recorded, even though I know I'm not being recorded because I didn't turn it on. But you know, I do have a little lens cap, but I like having this here because I don't know, I like having my camera in a designated spot, so my angle is like pretty much always the same regardless of what I'm filming, as long as it's like at the desk. But I like that it's all white because then it kind of like blends into like the white walls and the white table of the desk a little bit better, and it's a little less jarring than like having this like black or like red camera just sitting on my desk. This is kind of it. Like I said, I have this, you can see it over here, I have this ring light that I just put this dresser here, and on top of it I have like my mic pack, and then I have my bag for travel, and then I have a calculator, and I have some like extra SD cards. This is a pretty like recent addition. I just moved that there like a couple days ago. It has like all like my crafting supplies. There's some like extra cables in there. Normally I'd have the ring light like right here, but because I put that there, the ring light's like further away. But the cable's long enough that I could plug it in and it would add extra light if I needed it. But I don't use it too often because sometimes I feel like it can look a little like, I don't know, sometimes I feel like it looks too harsh, so I have to like point it away. It kind of just depends on my mood. But I like this. I like the softness of the lighting. I like how it's set up, especially when the windows are open. It does look way better. But yeah, it's pretty simple, nothing crazy. Most of the craziness comes in when I'm editing, because that's like where my expertise is. You know, cinematography is definitely a weaker spot in my ability to create videos. I would say that editing is up here, scripting is like second, and then cinematography is like maybe third. But I'm trying to get better, and I have a lot of friends that are like really good at it, and I try to sort of like emulate what they do to help me like learn, you know what I mean? But yeah, this is the filming setup. She's pretty straightforward, nothing crazy. But you see how much of a difference this lighting makes? Like the second I open the blinds, it's like the room just feels so much different. It feels so much brighter. Not that I dislike the way it looks when the blinds are closed and you just have the studio light. I do think it sort of adds this like cozy, like warm energy, but something about having that bright light in my eyes just like wakes me right up. But yeah, that's pretty much it. The desk is about where I want it to be, I would say. I think ideally I would like to have a few more like picture frames over here, just so I have a little more like cute things to look at. I try my best to keep it clear. I will say, like, having a big like table here, it does tend to get covered in clutter, which I don't love, and that's kind of why I've been like cleaning so much, because I'm like, okay, I need to make sure that I'm not just like dumping my shit onto my desk. Like, this is supposed to be like a place to work and create. I will say the other day I did like clear off this entire side and I just like built a puzzle there. I think it's like really nice having the two sides. Like, this is my workstation, this is where I film, and then over there is kind of just like I can do like more creative things over there, I feel like. But no, I like it a lot. It's really nice, and I love being by the window. And then also having my bed there. I've talked about this before. I have pots, so sometimes if I'm like sitting or standing or like literally doing anything, I can get kind of lightheaded. So I do like being able to just like, if I have a flare up, I can just like literally collapse onto my bed. So that is also really nice. But yeah, I'm still figuring out little kinks here and there, but overall I'm loving my new setup. I like the way that this looks for the videos. I like the way it feels when I'm working, and I like that I can see nature when I look outside my window. Like, isn't that the best? Isn't that the dream? But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, like this video, make sure to comment down below, say hello, tell me how you're doing. Let me know if you liked the desk tour, if you have any recommendations for desk organization, or if any cable management tips. I welcome them all. Or if you just want to, you know, tell me about your desk setup and how cute it is, I would love to hear about it. And make sure to subscribe. I feel like I forget to ask that sometimes, but you know, I think as of filming, we're at like 250 something subscribers, which is crazy. My goal this year was to hit 300 subscribers, and I'm like already halfway there, which is insane. So thank you guys so much. But if you're not subscribed, what are you doing? Subscribe, please. I love you. Thank you. Anyways, I love you the most, guys. I will see you in the next one. Bye.